Hello, and welcome to this segment of Let's Talk. I am so excited today because we are going to be talking about how we are filling current and future teaching vacancies in our district. There is nothing more important than having really great teachers with our students in our classrooms every day. And so we have developed 3 programs internally. They're local Winston-Salem Forsyth County School programs that are really designed to recruit and retain incredible talent. And so with us today, we have 3 of our incredible employees. We have George Moore, who's from Winston-Salem Prep. He is a teacher there. And George is currently in our teacher residency program, which is a program that we are one of 3 districts in the state that are able to license our own teachers. And George is in that program. You're going to hear all about that. We have Stephanie Wallace with us. She is a teacher from East Forsyth High School. She was on the front cutting edge of the teacher cadet program in our school district and is involved at the state level as well. But she's going to talk about the future. You know, I always say our future teachers are sitting in our classrooms today. And Stephanie is actually she's a living testament to that, as many students have graduated from her program, and have become teachers in our district. So she's going to talk about the teacher cadet program. And then we've got Tiffany Cash next to me, right on my right, and she is going to talk about the Transition to Teach program, which she graduated from. She was serving as a TA at Diggs Latham. She graduated from that program, actually got to see you walk across the stage at Winston-Salem State, and you graduated and are now teaching. She is a classroom teacher, no longer a teacher assistant, is a full-time classroom teacher. So this is what these programs are all about. It is about growing our own. It is about creating the future success for our school district, because honestly, we cannot have great outcomes for students without really incredible teachers in our classrooms. And these 3 programs are really helping us to get there. They are being recognized at the state, they're being recognized across the country, and we are just really excited to talk about these 3 programs today with our viewers. So we're going to jump in. Did I do an okay job with that opening?
I think it's pretty great.
I am just so excited about these 3. And I mean, that's why when it was like, what are we going to talk about next on Let's Talk? I thought we've got to talk about this because I know there's national and state talk about teacher shortages, and that is not a new conversation. And so we've got to take the bull by the horns and create our own future. And so these grow your own programs are about that. So I'm really excited. So I'm just going to start with a question about each one of them. And we'll start, Teacher Cadet is about our current students becoming future teachers. So let's just start there. And I'll start with Stephanie. Can you talk about the Teacher Cadet program and why it is so important for the future?
Absolutely. The Teacher Cadet program is a program that allows students the opportunity to start investigating the world of education from the inside. And so we start with the basics. We start with all the psychology of development and all that. They learn that for birth through 18. Then they delve into methodology and pedagogy. They complete field experiences at multiple levels and in different venues. They're in EC classrooms. One of my TC4 this year switched her major from high school biology to elementary EC because of a field experience, right?
That's incredible. I love that.
They are working with our ML students. They are tutoring in the district. And so it gives them an opportunity to get into the classroom and find out what they want to do before they go to college. One of my former cadets at UNC Wilmington, several of the students that he's with that didn't have teacher cadet programs are just getting into practicums junior and senior year and finding out, oh wait, I don't really want to teach elementary. Oh wait, I don't really. And the cadets have already been there, done that. They've made those choices. And so it is an amazing foundational program for helping them cultivate the passion that's already there and streamline it into the avenue they really want to be into.
That's incredible.
So that they're coming back and staying in those positions.
And just with your story, how long have you been really teaching in Teacher Cadet?
24 years.
24 years.
My first year teaching, the teacher who had it my first year, Elizabeth Ashworth, was retiring.
Okay.
And so at that time, Kurt Telford was the principal, and he was like, go get trained for this.
That's awesome.
And so I came back and took over from her midway through my first year.
That's good. And how many of your graduates, do you know this number, have become teachers? Do you know?
I have almost 300 who have come through my program. Right around 180, 190 of them are teaching. We've got Last Facebook polls and those sorts of things, I think I've got around 80 or so in our district. I have several on my
great.
staff.
Go,
That-
Steph.
Woo!
Yes,
It's
talk
awesome.
about.
My cadets are my own biological children. So that's been
that is
awesome.
I
incredible.
love that. Talk about a veteran going again and taking an extra mile. I love it.
It's awesome. It's
I
awesome.
love
love
it.
it.
I love it too. And honestly, and in just a minute, we're going to talk about expansion and how we continue to just grow this. Because again, you know, we have schools across the district that are doing things like I see things posted where student athletes are going to schools and mentoring young children. I
Right.
see PE classes at a school going out to other schools and teaching PE classes to young students. And these are not even teacher cadet, but they're starting to put into the mind of our high schoolers like, this might be a good profession for me. I like
Yep.
working with kids. And so then the teacher cadet just kind of helps to solidify that.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk more about it. Before we do, I'm going to go to George. Because George, I know you've been in the district in different roles. You have a degree that was not necessarily a teaching degree. And that's what the residency program's all about. It's helping you get licensed. Can you tell me more about a little bit about your journey and what the teacher residency program has been about and why you chose to kind of go into that program?
Okay, well, good morning,
Good
everybody,
morning.
and thanks for having me here, Superintendent McManus. The teacher residency program is an alternative program, education prep program, geared towards substitute teachers, teacher assistants, and other district employees. What's important about the program is that it allows the teacher candidates to work under a resident license while pursuing their initial licensure. Okay, and it's a great program. What makes it important to me is that I have been wanting to teach for so long. I've been in the district, I think I started as a sub in 2005, and it was always an obstacle, something personal, financial, and ultimately it came down to time.
Right.
I didn't think I had the time, but I saw an email, read an email last May, and I was on, next thing I know, I was on the telephone with Dr. Tina Lupton, who's the Executive Director for Professional Learning. And in the room with her was Miss Karen Morris over the program, Teacher Residency. And we had a nice long chat. And by the end of that conversation, I knew that this program would be for me.
Oh, that's amazing.
I knew that'd be for me. So with the Teacher Residency, I just finished my requirements further, but I also transitioned into a program called Prepare Plus. So although I have finished the requirements for teacher residency, I'm working on a free master's. A few of us have taken advantage of that for a free master's that's offered at A&T or High Point.
Okay.
Not that many content areas just yet, but they're growing.
But they're growing. Okay.
But they're growing. So I'm just excited to finally have this opportunity.
Yes.
I mean, to actually be in the classroom with the students.
Yes.
And we are so
Yes,
thankful
awesome.
That's
that,
exciting.
number one, that you wanted to, because I understand you have a master's already in something else. So like this
Yes.
is another master's.
Yes.
But that you know, have the passion to be a teacher, that you've taken on these different roles, but now you're actually fulfilling your dream of being a licensed teacher. And that I'm so glad that we had a program that would meet
Yes.
your needs.
Yes.
And it's not, you know, sometimes our licensed folks have to go back to a university and it's expensive.
Yes.
And you already have degrees in other things. And so I am thankful that our team, you mentioned Dr. Lupton and Karen Morris, that they have taken initiative to bring this to our school district, that we were accepted. I saw many emails from Tina, like with the state saying, when are we going to hear about this? Are we getting it? And we finally got the word that yes, we are one of 3. And I'm so glad you're in that first cohort. When are you expected to be done with the program?
Fall of 25.
Fall of
So
25.
it gives me a little more time to finish getting everything in place, the remainder of my praxis exams
Right.
and my Ed TPA.
Yeah.
And I am so glad that you're getting to teach while you're doing it. I think
Yes.
that's the key, the resident part of this.
It is.
So,
It really is.
Well, congratulations. I'm so glad
awesome.
I'm so glad you haven't left us. You stayed with us,
Yes.
and that you're impacting.
I'm not going anywhere.
Good, and you're impacting our
I'm not going
youth
anywhere.
every day. Thank you,
Yes.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you. And so I'm going to turn now to the third program, which is our Transition to Teach program that Tiffany was part of and graduated from. And tell us about that. So you were also a person who you were serving in a role of TA.
Yes.
You wanted to finish and just take on. I'm sure you were probably teaching a lot already.
Yes, yes.
As the TA, knowing Tiffany. And then, so tell us about what that program was about. Why did you go into it, and what did you, what is so important about that program?
Well, I thought you never asked. So, Transition to Teach program for me was an amazing opportunity. I also saw the email. I was originally a research associate with the Opportunity Culture team, and I like to define it as being a teacher assistant with a cape, because you're doing co-teaching, you're making your own small group lesson plans, you're doing a lot of things that you're passionate about anyway, because we're in the field doing it. So it's always has been an ambition and a passion for me in general. So what Transition to Teach did for me was offer to pay 75% of Miss Teacher Assistant salary tuition, which changed everything. As a single mommy of two, I had no idea how I was going to do this thing, what I was going to do. And then in came my lovely district and our team. It's a part of Dr. Lumpton as well, and Beth Sharp, who helped her champion the situation and process the applications for the process. They are willing to reimburse you back the 75% after you finish your process. Support was all the way through, and they give you two options of schools to choose from. I chose Glorious Winston-Salem State, SU, yay. Because, well, obviously it was the first teacher college, 1892 one, and my passion has always been to graduate from an HBCU. And initially I decided to take on the world of life and see what that did. And so I thought my dream of being able to graduate summa cum laude from an HBCU was gone. And Transition to Teach changed all of that. I mean, it changed my whole progress, my lifestyle. I am teaching now in 5th grade. I am an initial license holder. I am summa cum laude. I am highly qualified per NCDPI, and it was all thanks to Transition to Teach program. I can't stress it enough, and I keep trying to tell everyone who's under me and beside me, and I'm like, friend, hold my hand, I'll take you there. Let's do it together.
incredible.
It changed everything for me, and this is only the first stepping stone, and I aspire to be very similar to Stephanie, a vet in 24 years, to be like, well, once upon a time. And I hope to do that one day, and Transition to Teach has made that possible for me to have a stepping stone, a foundation to follow my ambition.
I tell you, I could talk to the three of you all day, and you all should be like the poster people for our profession, because I mean, we have the most incredible
Teachers here.
profession, and there are challenges every day, and there is no doubt about that.
Yes.
But the way you all show up and speak about what you do is inspirational, and the speaking about how much you wanted to do it,
Yes.
and are excited about what we do for kids is very inspirational. And so I just, hopefully, the three of you will go viral, because this is what we need to go viral about.
Right,
We need to
this is
go
what we
viral
care about.
our incredible profession.
Right, all the great things we're doing
and
within
these
our
programs.
district.
And I'll tell you, I know that Tina and team have relied on grants and support, like from the Winston-Salem Foundation for
Right.
some of this, and for other grants. And so I will tell you, because we're so committed to this, these three programs are very clear in our budget for 25,
See?
for
I know, it's
24,
exciting.
25. And will continue to be, because we have to be able to sustain these programs, and we cannot just keep having to find outside funding sources. We've got to be able to do that. And so as we think about the future, I want to go back to Teacher Cadet. So I know that we have started expanding. And so can you talk a little bit about that, Stephanie? And then, what should that look like? And then with the expansion, what are we thinking about? Because I know you're in many conversations behind the scenes. What are we thinking about how to get more kids excited about it? So talk about the expansion, and then maybe kind of how we're going to try to grab more kids into the program, the Teacher Cadet program.
Right. So the biggest piece of the expansion is OTU. Thank you.
Yes.
Because the barrier to expanding Teacher Cadet in our high schools has been that we don't currently have a state allotment. And so in previous years, principals, like I'm primarily an English teacher, my Teacher Cadet teacher at Glenn is a math teacher, and so they've given up an allotment of their subject area in order to be able to keep cadet. And you removed that barrier by holding principals harmless for that allotment piece. And that when Dr. Lupton and I first started talking about expanding, we asked principals, and that was their answer. That's the biggest barrier, it's a money thing. And so we have expanded into several high schools. We have 184 students in the program this year across the district, which is amazing. We have students that are leading at the state level. I have the current North Carolina Teacher Cadet State President and the President-elect for next year out of my program. They were elected at State Convention this year. And so being able to put that out there in front of kids, that it's not just a class you're taking in your room, but there's so much more to it. There's support, like you mentioned.
Right.
Another piece with the expansion is removing some of the barriers. And so Dr. Lupton put together our first annual WSFCS Aspiring Teachers Day this year.
awesome.
It was amazing. The feedback from the kids, I think the biggest takeaway for me was they said it's the first time somebody celebrated us wanting to teach instead of
Yes.
asking us why we're considering it.
I love that.
They hear all the time, do you really want to teach? You know you're not going to make, and so for them to come and to get to hear from you and different people that are like, yes, you're going to teach, that was huge. We had the college panel here. A lot of them have already said, can we do it earlier next year? Because I heard from colleges that made me second guess what I thought I wanted to do. And so being able to show them that we have the support is huge. Working out transportation issues with principals, those sorts of things. Scheduling, we've been able to have conversations with the high school principals about when the best time is to schedule the course. And so kind of combating all of the little nuances of it have helped us to be able to grow it. And moving forward, we are hoping to be able to get into the rest of the high schools. We're working on getting the teachers trained for that at the state level. And then also, Dr. Lupton and I are in conversations right now about the financial piece of it and how we can make sure that our teacher cadet students who might not take it because they're worried about, well, I can't afford the professional dress to do field experience, or I don't have a way to get to field experience, or I can't afford to go to that conference. We want to remove all of those barriers so that any student who wants to pursue education as a career can come in and dip their toes in the water in teacher cadet and find out how much they're going to love it.
That's awesome.
I love that.
If you need any personal shoppers, I would love that.
That would blow their mind. Look at shopping with Miss McManus.
Oh my God, the superintendent. Yes,
I love it. I love that we're talking about potential barriers and how we break those down. And I also love that we're moving. How many schools are we in now? I can never remember the exact number.
Right now, we are in, I believe, 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
We had a couple where the teachers are trained, but the class just didn't make for the fall.
Okay.
And so you guys have helped us so much with the posters and all the information we've been able to get out, being able to put information in the Keeping You Informed.
Okay.
So
So that's been the marketing piece?
Yes.
Is there anything else we're talking about with marketing toward our youth of today, and how, what have we talked to the kids about? What other marketing can we do to get more kids
What's their interest? Where can we catch them at it?
I don't know that we've had
Okay.
those conversations yet. I know my students did some videos. I just filmed them real quick on my iPhone and shot them to the teachers at Parkland and other schools for
Okay.
them to be able to use
Oh,
for recruitment.
good.
They did some QR codes. And so Dr. Lupton and I had talked about that maybe on the posters for next year, getting them out earlier and have some of those student testimonial QR
would be
codes on there.
great. Yep.
So that they're hearing from actual cadets, not just people who already love the profession saying, you're going to love it.
Right.
Hear from kids who are going through it and have come back and are enjoying it.
I think that's great.
I was going to say, Stephanie, I agree with you on that aspect. It's about changing the mindset from this fixed mindset to the growth mindset, because like you said,
Yes.
they hear so much negative connotation with being an educator and the salary and this, that, and third. And even at the 5th grade level, I'm always preaching or trying to lead by example, but I'm preaching the same thing. I agree with you, trying to tell them that there's so much more. Like, this is just something that we're doing right now, but wait till you see other individuals. So I'm excited. I would love for them to come out to elementaries and get their mindsets ready and changing it from that fixed point to that growth point. Like, there's so much more than what you see on social media. There's so much more specifically in our district in itself.
And that goes back to what Mr. McManus said a while ago about getting the positives out there. The only things
Yes.
they see on the news are the negative things that happen in schools. And so just inundating them with all the good things and the amazing things, and these are the reasons to
Yes.
come show up and do this every day.
I love that.
Great. So George, back to teacher residency though. Can you talk, like, through your experience, what have been some of the most impactful parts of the program? Like, what have you learned that you're like, this has made a difference now back in my classroom?
Oh, wow. So some of the most impactful. Well, let me start with a few highlights, because there have been quite a few
Quite a few.
highlights.
Okay.
Yes, when we started last summer, the wealth of knowledge that was presented to us when we started the program in the summer, it was phenomenal. I mean, we were not sitting at computers, we're not pushing pencils. We actually had live individuals who would walk
Yes.
the walk.
It makes a
I
difference.
mean, it does make a
See?
difference when you have former teachers and principals that there
Right.
to help guide you. And then working in your specific content area. And as you said earlier, the field experience. Again, we were not stuffed in a room. We actually went out to schools, went out and just talked with teachers. We monitored, we talked with school administrators. And after those conversations, it kind of cemented my why.
Yes.
My why.
You gotta have another why.
So the most impactful, I would say, Most impactful, I would say the support. The level of support that I have received, that my fellow teachers have received,
Yes.
I'm still continuing to receive from the residency, from my friends over at Beginning Teacher, Ms. Jackie Finlay, Ms. Derek Dirks, the Prepare Plus folks under the leadership of Dr. Kalisha Petty,
Yes.
and my Phoenix family, Phoenix family at Winston-Salem Prep, just that support. I mean, it's not just, it can be in the form of a text, it can be a phone call, but
Right.
to have actual people, like, you know what, I'm driving to you now.
Exactly.
You know, I appreciate that so much. So that was the most impactful,
That
just
is
that
fantastic.
experience.
Y'all
love
took
that.
Dr. Gabriel from us.
Oh, did you?
Assistant at East before she went over there.
Okay, well, I'm sorry for your
excited
loss.
y'all have her.
I'm sorry for your loss, but
I'm excited for
excited for the games.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I love what you're saying about the importance of pouring into our educators, those that are in training, those that are new, and honestly, the whole, it never stops. Being able to have somebody to mentor you, coach
Yes.
you, really, it never stops. And I love that how you're describing that it's a combination of the school team, because they're with you every day, like every day, every minute of the day.
Yep.
That's critical. But then you've got a BT person. Is there a coach that comes in to support you?
Mr. Derek Dirks.
Derek comes in and he's your assigned to you, and then within the residency, is there another layer that, or is that the same thing?
I'm going to say, even though we have people assigned to us, we can
Yeah.
call on anyone.
Anyone? Yeah.
Anyone.
And they're always willing and ready.
Good. So
Willing
this
and
level
ready.
of support, I think it's so important when you think about what makes someone get through their first few years as an educator. And I think you hit it on the head with all that layer of support.
Yes.
It's you know, everybody wants to always talk about accountability, but you got to have a nice balance between support
Right.
and accountability.
Indeed.
Right.
And
Indeed.
we
That's how
don't
you
we don't
stop that
improve
exodus.
people just through accountability.
Right, right.
Whoever thought that was the
Right.
answer. It's, you know, it's just a mixture.
Yes.
And we got to do both.
A
And it
nice
sounds like
blend.
you're getting that. Did you get that as well in the transition to teach? Did you get that through your program?
Yes, I got all the things. I didn't want to take it away, but I really did. My transition to teach program with some state. I mean, it didn't matter what hour or the day I called any of them. My transition to teach coaches and my Winston State. They were on the horn. If I had an impromptu outside their office hours, I needed guidance with my ATPA. Hey, I can't sleep tonight. Could you possibly Zoom in with me? They were ready, locked and loaded. Like over the call and over the necessary, they were ready. And they wanted to see me persevere, and they were willing to do whatever needed to be done to see us succeed. And so I had that same level of support. And even now that I'm a licensed educator, I'm sure I'm quite the nuisance probably to my coaches, but they already know, hey, Cash. So my yearly coach, my head Coach Potts, and he's like, yeah, Cash, I knew you were going to call. Yeah, so it's EOG time. Just wanted to see if you come in to see me and my lesson plans. And the support is necessary. I think that's what makes the difference. Even though I've been TAing since 2017 in Title I schools specifically, I think that support that came along with it would make the difference for all of our new and upcoming educators coming in too, because they're like, granted, the textbooks do prepare you, right? And again, summa cum laude graduate, and the text did that, but my veterans taught me a lot of things. My superintendent McManus, I've harassed you as well, taught me a lot of things. Dr. Lumpton, my team, a lot of things that textbooks wouldn't have prepared me for if I didn't still have that support to be able to teach today's child and create the future leader.
Yeah, I love it. So then so when we think about these three programs, we want to sustain them, we want to keep, you know, enhancing them, improving them, growing them. What are the best ways to, or that you've seen, like you said you got an email, and that's how you found out. How did you find out about Transition to Teach?
I found out about Transition to Teach through our Keeping You Informed.
Okay.
They sent out the links and the
Yep.
information, and then they did a follow-up. I don't know how I got in the thread, but I was like, oh, look at God, yay. And I did a follow-up and was like, hey, we see you're RA/TA. Would you be interested in?
Got it.
And I was like, yes, I would.
So that's great. So you got direct? Was
Direct.
it direct? Mm-hmm. That's great. I
Yes.
like that targeted. So you
Yes.
saw a global newsletter and then a targeted email or some reach out.
Yes.
Is there anything else that we can do to either, number one, inform people of the program that are in the scenarios? I want to be a teacher, and the things that the challenges you face, but then you found these programs. Is there anything else we could do to promote the programs? It would be my first question, that you would think, or was that we have applicants, so I'm guessing it's working, but is there anything else we could do?
I'm thinking maybe a PD, I hate to say this, I know it's like taboo professional development though, so they can get into the room and hear it. Because sometimes we do get caught up in our day because we're all about teaching Masters of Art Pedagogy, giving 110 to our students. By the end of the day, I have 150 text messages and emails, and I don't know what happened. I'm trying to play catch up. Maybe if there was one specifically in regards to Transition to Teach, where they could come in, they could see, it didn't have to be long or in depth, have real life people, because I came from cohort 3 Transition Teach, so all the other cohorts that came along prior to me, and have them sit and talk and have them have that moment where you can look them, they're real people, it's not an advertisement, we're real, this is what happened, we have real lives too, and this is how we succeeded, and this is what our district did for us. And then they make a connection for them to follow their passion and their ambition, because we're clearly in the district doing something because we love what we do. So once they see that there's an opportunity in regards to Transition to Teach, that you can go further, I think that it would change the name of the game. And we do have a lot of applicants, of course, but maybe something that's a requirement, because sometimes we overlook things, and then they have the moment to talk and ask the questions, and is this a real thing? And then there's me, and I'm like, yes, it's real.
It's real. I think it's powerful. You make a powerful statement about how you made it work. A mom, 2 kids.
Yes.
You said single mom earlier,
Yes.
2 kids. And then, so you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have time, but you made time, and I think to hear your story is really important.
Yes,
for people to hear that.
Yes, to make the time, of course you have to be determined, right? And time management was for sure everything. And the same thing you said with the practice. Prior to me going to Transition to Teach, I was going to an online school. I think it was in Utah or something random. So it wasn't the same connection. It was like pass-fail grades. I kind of was like, it's not doing what I needed to do. And then Transition to Teach came in, offering local colleges so I can have somebody, a live person to talk to. The feedback would be generic in regards to the online school I was attending at the time, so it didn't really feed to what I needed. And I think by this Transition to Teach cohort coming in, it gave me an opportunity to be in an actual classroom that fit my schedule, and I was still able to work. That was the big thing, because most of them
Yeah,
to do
paid,
to come out. They wanted you to come out of school for the ETA and preclinicals and clinicals. Where Transition to Teach, I didn't know I have bills to pay. I didn't know what, oh my word. And Transition to Teach was like, no, it's okay, sweetie. Keep doing what you're doing. Be great at that. We'll offer you supports, and we'll still cut your check.
That's good.
And I was
That's
like,
great.
oh yes. So I can succeed and graduate, and we can still eat. Yay! And so it changed everything. It really did. And I can't stress it enough, because I know people are like, oh, life is life in. My 5th grade taught me that. Life is life in. And it is. But we can still do it. And I'm willing to be a help, a support, whatever needs to happen, even with the TPA, because that's something new. My veterans were like, well, girl, bless your heart. And I was like, no, I need something else. I need you to help me. Transition to Teach, Winston State, they literally held my hand. It's good to my Lou, my darling, to get me there. And so it makes a difference.
Awesome.
It makes a difference.
I'm going to ask, I have each of you respond to this question, kind of maybe a final question, because you've said so much about the programs. But when you think about all of this work, it really is about having a really great talent pipeline of teachers. And this is honestly for now, but for the future of our district and just of public education, which is so important to the future success of everyone, of our entire community. And so when you think about it, is there anything else that each of you would want the public, and this, our own employees, anybody else that logs into this, to know about why these programs are so critical to sustain, and anything else you want to add about why, your why, and about the future of teaching, and just in general. I'm going to let each of you, and you can go in any order, because I just kind of sprung that out there as kind of closing thoughts about why the programs are so important, not only to our district, but in general to our profession. So whoever wants to go first.
Okay.
You want to start, George? Okay.
I'll start. I would say to anyone on the outside in a different career that wanted to come in, I'd ask some questions, because it begins with talks and conversations. And I would ask, what can you do to positively impact the life of a student?
Yes.
Are you a problem solver? Can you envision yourself being a classroom leader? Because anyone that's out there that might be in the same situation that I was in, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to teach, but I didn't know how to go about it. That you can just ask questions and just talk. And also, being an educator, it's not just about, it is mainly about educating and prepping the minds for the future. But for me personally, I want kids to feel safe.
Yes.
I want them to feel safe. Because I know that I did not. Well, let me just say, school was my safe place.
Right.
I was one of those students that I dreaded teacher work days. I dreaded summer
Right.
because the teachers, they're what made me feel really good about myself.
Yes.
So I would definitely, if looking to get people into these programs, just if you think you're the right fit, if you think you're the right fit, talk, find a teacher. Everyone knows a teacher.
Yes.
You
I
know,
love that.
Yes.
really.
I think that's great. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, George, you
I
you
think
are
that's
inspiring,
powerful.
and thank you so much, because I love that. There are so many people out there that do want to make a difference. They might be in other careers right now, and they just need to be able to talk to someone and say, yeah, you can come in, you can become a teacher, and actually we have a program that we can license you ourselves. Like I think that's really important. So I think it's just getting the word out to the public then.
Exactly.
Our own team, we have a lot of people in our own district that need the licensing.
Yes.
But as we think about other people coming in, yeah. So thank you for sharing your personal story and why your why is compelling, and I think
love it,
everybody
George.
needs to hear it. So thank you, George. Stephanie, you want to go next, and then we'll come back to Tiffany.
Sure. I think my why, I grew up in a military family, moved around a lot, and kind of the same thing, wanting to create a safe space for kids, but not so much because my experiences outside of my school building were not the best. It was because I had that stable home, but I went to school with kids who didn't, and I watched them struggle, and finances were the struggle for my family. It wasn't a safety issue of the youngest in a very large military family. It was finances for us. And I had a few teachers that just poured into me. It didn't matter that I hadn't lived there very long, and I was blessed that as a military child, the residency requirements for colleges don't apply, because I hadn't, I was able to get the teaching fellows that way to UNC Greensboro. And what I try to make my cadets understand, the biggest compliment I've ever gotten from a student was that I made them feel seen. And that's what our kids, whether they have great home lives, not so great home lives, kids want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to feel like they're important, that somebody's paying attention to them.
Definitely.
And by drawing these kids who are just playing around with the idea of wanting to teach, by drawing them into this program and watching them get to make younger versions of themselves, because they're still students, feel seen and heard, and to watch them explore, watch them decide, oh, high school biology was cool, but these EC babies over here, they're tugging my heartstrings. They're the ones who are coming back and staying, and they're imparting into their students who may not even go into education good things about education. And that's how we change the narrative, is increase the number of people who are saying good things about education. Yes. And I think the teacher cadet program, the support that the district is giving them, it's going to be the same sort of experience that you guys have talked about, but it's starting even younger. And imagine how powerful. Imagine how powerful these kids are going to be.
Because they're already rooted. I love that.
I was going to say, I can name several across the district. Like, go look at what they're doing in their rooms.
I love
and it's
that.
because they got to start with somebody feeding that power.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what keeps me coming back with the program, is I get to feed that power, that love every day.
I love it, and
I
I think
love
the more,
that.
I think like as we think, are we starting to think we need to start marketing even at middle school as they're thinking about high school, like as they're going or no, or do you think it really is?
I think so. I'm thinking about, prior to COVID, my cadets were in lots of schools doing lots of things. We used to run the school store at Cache Elementary every morning.
Yes.
Because with the staggered start, they don't have to be to me until everybody else is already going.
Yes.
And so I've been looking at ways to kind of rekindle some of those partnerships.
Good.
We help out with field day. Like, the schools email me in Kernersville, and they're like, hey, do you have cadets who can do that? I've had cadets go file papers.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
just the more we can get them in. And I was talking to them earlier, our freshman academy has asked our upperclassmen to pen pal with our freshman students as let's make a strong finish. It's freshman year. We know you're tired. I'm thinking about maybe reaching out to my feeder middle schools and seeing about setting up a teacher cadet,
That would be great.
like a pen pal program, mentor program, something like that with
Yeah.
middle schoolers who teachers are identifying. Because we see the kids who were like, you should think about teaching.
Right.
And so maybe partnering them up and doing some pen pal things.
I love
And
that.
I know when we think about, like right now we have a Drive for Forsyth local task
Yes.
force. You both are on it, George.
Yes.
I would love to add you to it if you would be willing. It's after our state level that Dr. Graham actually led the state level drive
Yes.
task force, but it's really about how do we create the future? How do we have diverse talent pools in our school district so that we can honestly meet the needs of all of our students.
Yes.
We've got so much work to do, and we need students to see themselves in their teachers and in their leaders, and we just need to your point about all students seen, valued, and heard. Like, that's what this task force is about. We're talking about how do we get kids that are in cadet, how do we maybe give them scholarships to go on into the teaching programs
Yes.
at
Yes.
Winston
I love
State?
that.
How do we do that, and then they come back and teach with us? So there's so many conversations going about this. I would love
That's
you
so
to be
good.
added to it. We've got you two
you
already
for
in
sure.
it,
Okay.
because we really need to start.
Seriously.
We need to start making sure these strategies are. These
Being
three
implemented.
programs were at one point. Here's the strategy. So we got to keep enhancing it to make sure we are continuously breaking down barriers that students might face, whether it be finances or other barriers.
Right.
And I'm going to close with you, and then we're going to wrap this up for today, just in a 30-second.
All right.
Why is this?
me together, Ms.
Why
Ennis.
is this so important? And I love it. You're
Right.
you're always concise and clear. So,
All right, so yay,
Yeah.
30 seconds, here we go. So why is this so important? It is so important because children need to see the change that we want to see. That's my why, that's my bottom line. I came through this school district, we moved here from Durham, K-12, and long story short, my why was built because there were other children who were just like me and weren't hearing the positives, who weren't hearing you could be more, you can be more, you can take more. And I feel like had I heard that, maybe I would have been more a little bit sooner. So now that I'm doing it, I want to be an example for my peers, the adults who are like, I don't know, don't know, you can do it. And for those students, like, friend, I did it, you can do it, be bigger, better, stronger, faster. I literally have a bulletin board in my classroom that says that, who's next? All of my little accolades, what I've done, and a mirror for them to see themselves. Who's next? Because you had that opportunity, and that's why I love this hitting it young, because if we can spin that narrative, change that fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and let them see there's so much more that you can benefit from and so much more to be given to today's child. And I'm all about the advocacy. Any way I can advocate and make it happen, I want to be a part of it, and I want to get other people to come with me. And we can do it together, you're not alone. And that's why I love this and what we're doing with our programs, because we're showing not only our district in North Carolina, everyone, we're making a foundation for other districts and states, and people who are listening to us right now. Like,
Absolutely.
it can be done. And you see in the news how the numbers the need for the numbers keep increasing.
Yeah.
And we're changing that in our own district and making a change and a difference.
Yes.
And we're already rooted and founded here. So the passion was there. It's a matter of nurturing it, and we're ready. I love
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you three so much. Thank you for pouring into me today, because you may not realize it, but you really did. Just listening to you takes me, just reminds me of why it's so important to stay the course. I mean, our future depends on it. Our kids depend on having great teachers and leaders in our schools, in every school, and you exemplify that. I am so thankful. So to all of you out there who have viewed this episode, I hope you stayed to the end, because this is what teaching is all about. This is what public education teachers are all about. And these are what our homegrown programs will produce the future will create the future that we need for our students. And so thank you so much again. Thank you to everyone out there, and have a great day.
Thank you, Ms. McManus, for having
Thank
us.
you. Thank you, guys.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.